Welcome. It's Ed Martin on the Pro America Report. Great to be with you today. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget proamericareport.com, proamericareport.com. If you go there, you can sign up for the daily email. It's called The Wink, What You Need to Know, WYNK, What You Need to Know. Sign up there at 5 a.m. Pacific Time, 8 a.m. East Coast Time. You'll get that in your email box 5 days a week. It'll give you some key articles to read, a few links to some of the great audio from this program, and other stuff. So go to proamericareport.com. Check in there. Thank you for doing that. Again, it's Ed Martin. Great to be with you tonight. And I have to tell you, we got a couple of great interviews as usual, and we'll get to them in a few minutes. We'll talk with our friend Dr. Brett M. Decker, and then Selena Zito, the great Selena Zito, who did a 4th of July visit to Gettysburg, as is her tradition, and also a very interesting column from a few days ago about what can only be described as America's finest who are in our military. It's just a great story about a young colonel that she wrote about. So we'll talk with her in a few minutes. But before we get to that, what do you need to know today? And I've been thinking about it. You know, I read the Wall Street Journal this morning, cover to cover. I was up earlier than usual even, and I sat there and I read it, and there's about 6 or 7 stories about how China's on the march. And I thought, well, should I go back to talking about China? I know people hear me talk about the threat of China, and I know you're not tired of it. You realize we're in a second Cold War. It's really serious and all, but I thought that's not it. And so today I want to talk to you about, I want to go back to the Mount Rushmore speech by President Trump. And I want you to listen to this quote from that speech and understand, because here's what you need to know today. In 17 weeks from today, 17 weeks from today will be Election Day. And what's on the ballot in America in 17 weeks is American history. It's American culture. It's America's way of life. And when you hear what's at stake, as the president framed it on July 3rd, he framed this argument. He said, this is what I see. And you can say what you want about Donald Trump. There's lots of people that don't like some of his policies. There's some people that don't like his tweets, whatever that is. But you have to understand that by this point, he is a gifted communicator. He knows how to communicate broadly to America. And he also knows what sort of time it is, to lack of a better phrase. It sounds a bit glib, but he knows what's happening. He sees that better than most. He, for 25 years, he was a sort of major figure in New York City. Then for 10 years, he was a national primetime TV success. Then he ran for office and succeeded in over 2.5 years or so. So that's the state of this guy. And he gives this speech, and he has framed it. And when he gives a speech on July 3rd at Mount Rushmore, what you need to know is he sees what the argument is. He's distilled it down. And by July 4th and 5th, Joe Biden's response is, let's beat Donald Trump and transform America. So even more than, say, Obama when he was running in 2008 and was running sort of to say, look, I'm a new guy, I'm a new moment, African American, support me. And he used the phrases transform America, but he wasn't dealing with he was not dealing with the culture that we're at, the way of what's happening. So when Biden says we'll transform America, you have to know he's saying we'll go in the direction of the terrorists, Black Lives Matter and Antifa. That's what he's saying. But here's Donald Trump. Here's the quote. I want to read it to you because I also heard this back from a friend of mine. I sent it to him on Saturday morning, and he said that he tweeted it, texted it to some friends, liberal friends, and they were totally in agreement that that's what's on the ballot. So here's this. This is a quote from the Rushmore speech. Make no mistake. This left-wing cultural revolution is designed to overthrow the American Revolution. In so doing, this left-wing cultural revolution would destroy the very civilization that rescued billions from poverty, disease, violence, and hunger, and that lifted humanity to new heights of achievement, discovery, and progress. You see that? That's President Trump's words. That's his framing of what's going on. And that's exactly right. What's on the ballot this fall is whether you want to continue, and by the way, get better, continue and get better as a civilization fostering nation for the world. Billions of people lifted out of poverty, billions of people given opportunity, not millions, not 350 million Americans, billions because of what America's done. Billions. And the framing here is, if you want to watch our cities, did you see the interview of the African-American man? He said, you said Black Lives Matter. You killed our own today. About his daughter who was murdered by protesters who gathered around a car, jostled the car that was trying to get through the protesters, and somebody opened fire, and a little girl died. And people are tearing down statues of Frederick Douglass. On the 4th of July in Baltimore, Maryland, they tear down and dance over the torn down statue of Christopher Columbus. I mean, come on. At this point, the president has made clear what the choice is. You know, we have a problem. We have to worry about getting coronavirus under control. We have a problem. We have to get the economy going in the right direction. That's all true. We have to worry about making sure things work better for everybody. But the choice is becoming stark and clear. And if you watch that entire speech, you will hear the president saying what is at the heart of America. And this morning, at the early morning, I was up again early. A friend of mine texted me. Actually, I got up early, and he had texted me late at night. He was up. He lives in the Midwest. He texted me probably 1 o'clock his time, which is 2 o'clock my time. But I saw the text when I got up at 5:30 a.m. this morning. And he said, if this keeps up, it's a landslide for Trump, like 72, which is a question people have. You know, what is it? What is this that's happening? Well, you know, what are we facing? You know, Donald Trump not succeeding? Well, he's got tough fights he's dealing with. The coronavirus is a tough fight. It's a pandemic. It's a once in 100 years. And has it been perfect? No. Have the experts been wrong? Yes. Have the experts been right? Sometimes, not much. And so the president's relied on experts. He's been betrayed by experts. He's struggled to figure out who can do what. But what we ultimately have done and seen, and the media is not covering it, is that the death rate of this disease has gone down, down, down. Which has always been our goal, right? To try to get get a vaccine, but until we get a vaccine, get as many people in a situation where we're not running out of hospital beds, not running out of ventilators, not running out of care, and we've done that. So this is all a success, except the media won't let it happen. But back to this question, what you need to know. In 17 weeks, you have a choice of the direction of the nation. Because Joe Biden, nobody thinks he's a strong leader. He will be a caretaker president. And who will be running his presidency? Black Lives Matter types. People that are now beholden to that movement. There's no room to say this is remember, Bill Clinton ran in 1992. He ran and said, we ran losers on the left of our party in 1984 and before that, 1988. And Bill Clinton said, I'm a different Democrat. I'm a moderate. Remember he had to start a think tank. I think it was called the Democrat Leadership Council or something like that, DLC. And it was supposed to be a third way, a middle way. And whether it was true or not, he positioned himself as a Democrat who, you know, wanted abortion to be safe, legal, and rare. Remember that? He wasn't with the wing of the party that said we have to have abortion on demand and paid for by Planned Parenthood. All these years later, we don't have a leader who's saying, I'm going to be in charge. I will run a moderate, administration for Democrats. No, Joe Biden is beholden to the Black Lives Matter Antifa terrorist movement, and he signaled that. And so, again, you can disagree with President Trump's positions on X or Y. There's plenty of room for that. You can disagree with his tweets. I hear that. And by the way, I'm not talking to the listeners of the program. If you're listening to me, you're probably generally supportive. I'm saying when you talk to your friends and others, I tell them, I talked yesterday to a friend. I said, look, I know you're frustrated by some of what you hear. But first of all, you have to understand the fake news is lying. But even still, it's a choice. I did an interview with a opinion host in England yesterday morning on Skype. And I said, look, in America, there's no such thing as you don't vote for the party in America. You vote for the leader, the president. And it comes down to a choice. And the choice is between these two people. And one has said, President Trump, and watch that Rushmore speech. Make no mistake, this left-wing cultural revolution is designed to overthrow the American Revolution. Think about that. Look, I told you, the preamble of the Constitution, we the people, the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, we've always been striving for a more perfect union. Yesterday on the program, and you can go to proamericareport.com and find all these interviews with all these great guests as standalone links you can click on. But we had Michael Anthony, a pastor and a writer, and he talked about how this, we Judeo-Christian America is always striving to be better. But we're striving to be better in the context of the greatest nation that's ever happened, which includes law and order, which includes respect for all people, which includes all the things that we're talking about. And yet, as Trump said it in Mount Rushmore, these people, this revolution, this left-wing cultural revolution would destroy the very civilization that has done so much. That's America. That's what's at stake. That's what you need to know. The clarity on this is, if you're debating how corrupt government is or how bad the swamp is or how much you wish this or that, that's fine. And I want more of that. I want more of draining the swamp. I'm disgusted by the reports now of all the companies that got bailout money during this period that shouldn't have got it, lawyers and bankers and others. I want all that changed. But at the heart of this right now is a choice whether you want to transform America like Black Lives Matter and Joe Biden, or you want to keep America and keep going. That's the choice. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we've got some great guests. I mentioned Jesselina Zito and Brett Decker and a lot more. Ed Martin here on the Pro America Report. Be right back.